Do you like fantasy football and sports betting? Come join us here at the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast, where hosts Matt, Shane, and Jason talk about fantasy players, lineups, and sports betting to help you compete and win championships. And of course, some extra cash. Let's jump right into the show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast. Matt, Shane, and Jason with you guys tonight on this absolutely fall, gorgeous, sort of winterish. I guess to us right now it feels winterish because it's cooler outside. Jason, not you, okay? How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. You said winter. I think that starts technically December 21st. So I was like, I paused. I was like, wait. I'm doing great. It feels fantastic here, but it wasn't very fall, Matt. I don't know what you're on. It was 80 degrees here in my city today. That is not fall weather.
Whoa, that was warmer than it was here.
It was hot. I was like, bro, can we go back to the 60s? I liked that.
Yeah, no, retweet with what you just said, Shane. We had a cold front blow through last week. Now we're back in the 90s this week. So, hey, there is no such thing as winter here in Texas until it gets in January, February, and I love it.
Listen, guys, it was like a high of like 72 here in the old man happiness, right? And now I think it's down to like 50 degrees outside, which is it. Listen, that feels cool to us after all the hot weather that we got here in Kansas, Jason, right? It feels cool to I'm leaving the house every morning with hoodies on, right?
Yeah, but I leave my house. I leave my house with a hoodie and a sweatshirt on. Then at noon I'm sweating my ass off.
That's because he's a baby. Right.
Yeah. Anyways, Jason, if you were here, you would be.
You act like I didn't live in Kansas
he's been
for
here
4 years.
Yeah, he's been here. He understands the struggle.
All right. Guys, appreciate you guys tuning in, man. We like bickering back and forth every once in a while. Tonight just feels like one of those nights. So. If you guys want to, man, head over to fantasy6pack.net. Go and get your all access membership, guys. We love everyone that is doing it. It helps out the show. It helps out Fantasy Six Pack. Type in Parlay FF to get 15% off of your all access membership right now. You will have access to the Discord channel. You'll have access to a ton on the website. You'll have access to a lot of stuff with a lot of different sports and a lot of knowledgeable people. Head on over, do that. Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel. That's where all our video content is now, right? Go and give it a subscribe. Give the videos a like. It doesn't take any time. It is free, and it helps us out. It helps us create this kind of stuff for you guys. Head on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Give the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast a shout out. Give it a follow. 5-star review. Leave some comments. We like mingling with you guys over there. This is our fantasy episode. If you guys want to check out any of the betting stuff, the Parlay Fade segments of the podcast, it comes out a day before this gets released, which is on Thursday. Go and check out all the other stuff. If you guys want some bets, some free bets, head over there. We pump out a lot of content for you guys. And I'm just going to say it. We're going to make you some money. We're going to make you some money. So go over there, give that a follow. But this is the fantasy show side of the podcast. So, Shane, do your thing, baby boy. Take it away.
Well, it is good to be back, fellas. You know, I think that we'll just launch directly into it. It's time for the dreaded news and notes.
420.
Not my best drop there. Not my best drop. I will work on that. For the easy news, well, not easy for some of you. We lost Chris Godwin last night as fantasy players. He suffered a dislocated ankle. It was so gruesome that he would not re-show the injury on TV, but it was hanging there. And that's how I felt watching that happen. I felt like I was just hanging there, and it was really rough being someone who has Godwin in a lot of leagues. Also, Mike Evans pulled his hammy, or I'm not sure what severity of the hammy injury it is. He's supposed to have an MRI, so we'll get more definitive answers there, but he will be out for approximately 3 weeks. Chris Godwin will not be available probably until the NFL playoffs if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are so lucky. In more sad news, Brandon Aiyuk suffered a season-ending injury. If those of you that saw it on Twitter, you guys are real sickos. But yeah, he's not coming back anytime soon. May miss part of 2025 as well. It's believed that there may be additional ligament damage and additional damage to the knee itself. So that is really sad for a very promising player. And yeah, it's just rough. Good thing that he got his bag though. I mean, like, can we just say
he did the right thing? He did the right thing.
You getting his bag before this happened, because had he not, it's a business. They would have taken advantage of it. George Kittle's day-to-day with a foot injury. Deebo Samuel in the hospital with pneumonia. And Chris Conley, who I honestly didn't know was a 49er until this past week, is suffering from a sprained ankle. So yeah, basically, if they were a Niners pass catcher, it's looking rough out there. Speaking of rough, Jayden Daniels left the game, and he could have played according to Dan Quinn, but Marcus Mariota took over and did. He looks like he transported back to his Oregon days.
Yeah, he did. He balled out.
Yeah, he balled out. He was 18 to 25 passing for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty insane. Deshaun Watson
doesn't take much versus the Panthers. But
okay,
true.
Stop taking away. Don't take away Marcus Mariota's glory.
It was his glory, Jason. Let him have it. Deshaun Watson suffered a ruptured Achilles tendon. By the way, I really wish that you guys would stop sharing those videos, because that is one injury that quite literally makes me squeamish.
Hey, real quick, why did they replay that? And they kept on replaying that one, and they were like, the Aiyuk and the Godwin, they're like, we can't do that. And I was like, dude, you saw his whole calf pop.
Yeah, they're hoping that the people over the age of 60 won't be able to watch it. And it's really out there for us sickos who, go check the injury.
Hopefully he gets better quick.
Yeah, hopefully he does. DTR has a chance to start, or it's Jameis Winston. So keep an eye out for that. Both could be significant upgrades to how Deshaun Watson was playing. Speaking of upgrades to an offense, Aiden O'Connell broke his thumb, which means Gardner Minshew is back under center. And at least Minshew is a gunslinger, and they have a fighting chance. He's not a good quarterback, but hey, he'll throw it up there and say someone's down there. And Juju Smith-Schuster ruled out already for week 8. If you picked him up because of all the injuries in Kansas City, welcome to the club. He's also injured. It is what it is there in KC. He should recover from the hamstring hopefully by week 9. But keep an eye on it. And Jalin Hyatt, I don't know how he got a cracked rib, but he got a cracked rib. So yeah, I don't know how that really affects fantasy, but he was a fantasy relevant player, last year. So fun name drop there. Other than that is about all the news and notes, aside from one fun news and notes. I'll leave it on a high note. It has been reported that Brian Cooks from the Kansas City Chiefs, he's starting safety, requests cold Sprite on the sideline during the game, which is hysterical. Like, what a weird drink to be like, I need that on the sideline, and I need it cold, and I need it like throughout the game. Like, there's like a video clip floating around of him going like, "Hey, you got my Sprite?" Like asking like the trainers like it's a drug deal. Like, hey, you got my Sprite?
That reminds me of Marshawn Lynch. Yeah. Wanting them Skittles, baby. Like, come on now, let's taste that rainbow, son.
Marshawn admitted to taking shots at Henny before a game.
Yeah, that's a whole different level of disconnected. That dude is insane. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. So a very, very sad news and notes section this week, but we had to end it on the bright note. And now hold on, we have one more bit of news and notes. If I can share this in a way that's not going to be awful, we're gonna go ahead and show our update.
Yep, we're getting back, baby.
Mark Andrews,
you are getting back.
Is officially wide receiver. Just kidding. Tight end 1, and Pittman was wide receiver 30 for week 8 or for week 7. I can't type. Apparently, I excuse my typo on Andrews week 8. I was thinking ahead to what could be for this week. If you guys notice any differences, Andrews is a lot bigger than MPJ at this point. If it ever changes back to MPJ being the alpha, he'll grow in size. But until then, he's almost diminished to the shadow realm at this point. And that is
Shane. He will grow in size if Joe Flacco becomes the starting quarterback.
If he comes back. If Flacco comes back, Matt says MPJ will be a big man again on campus. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, Andrews we may have to put 2 Mark Andrews up there.
Maybe
it's too out of hand.
Might have to. Before we jump into the fire and ice, Shane, let me ask you this, because I know this is news that's been floating around today about Cooper Kupp being on the trade block. Let me get your guys' opinions on, before we jump into the fire and ice and doing a little game summary, where would be a good spot for him to land, right? Because Kansas City that makes a lot of sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. I've heard Pittsburgh flying around there. Are there any other teams that you think make sense for him? Maybe Tampa Bay now?
San Fran, but they won't trade him in division.
Yeah.
I think San Fran would have been a great landing spot. But Jason alluded to it. Won't do that in division. I think the Steelers make sense. I think Tampa makes sense now that you mentioned it, Matt. I hadn't actually thought of that one, so that one's really good. Maybe Dallas, but Jerry Jones will break out his pocketbook to
Oh no, hell no.
Make that call. But he should be making that call with how terrible that offense has been. See if they'd throw in Kyron Williams as well.
That would be nuts, bro.
Pick for Kyron and Cooper. Go for it. But yeah, that's about it. Honestly, I can't think of a whole lot of teams that have the massive need that are still in competition. Like, there's other teams that need wide receivers, but they don't look to be competing. Arizona, maybe, but again, that's
maybe.
So like, they're not going to throw
in division.
Yeah, I think what we just said, man, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Buccaneers, those 3 are probably the most that make the most sense. We'll see if anything transpires with that, though. So, Shane, you can continue.
Sick. Yeah. I would love Cooper Kupp to come join us. There was also a rumor that Matt Stafford is available.
I heard that too.
Cleveland. Is Cleveland picking up the phone?
No way.
It makes sense, though.
Yeah, it makes sense, but they're too far out of it.
Had they not traded Amari already, I think that it would have made more sense. But
Tennessee makes more sense.
Yeah,
but
you're not wrong. That'd be a good British quarterback, but they might as well tank and draft another quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's like no other teams where it makes sense.
Screw it. Just bring it to Pittsburgh. Let's take 3. Come on now.
Just load them up.
There would have to be an injury this week for something to happen.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Butt it up against the bye week at this point. There, it's hard to do. And on to 5. Boom. Your fire picks of the week, fellas. Brock Bowers. The dude is already one of the best tight ends in football as a rookie. He is truly an outlier. Not only that, this week, he happens to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who the one weakness in that entire defense is covering tight ends. So this is a play for not only the future, if you could acquire Brock Bowers somehow, good luck, but specifically this week for those of you DFS sickos out there, because Bowers will probably go nuclear against my Kansas City Chiefs, as apparently any tight end with a pulse can possibly do. The next Fireman incoming. We got Romeo. Romeo, where art thou, Romeo Doubs? The man is truly a romantic on the football field with the love at QB. And let me tell you this, he is a volume beast. He's the one guaranteed volume player in that entire Packers passing game. Bank on it. Like, bank on it. At this point, it's not something that you can like sideline, like you can't brush it off. Like, everybody else on that team is so explosive, and he is the one who is getting the volume. There's an obvious trust and bond between him and Jordan Love. Go snag Romeo. Speaking of somebody who is pretty close with Romeo, Amari Cooper. Listen, the Coop hit the road and he is now in Buffalo. Let me just go ahead and say that is a show that we need to all hop on the bus for, because Josh Allen and Amari are going to tear it up, despite the fact that Keon Coleman did have to tell Amari Cooper what route to run. So as Amari starts to get more familiar with this offense and gets a more solidified role, it's just going to be scary.
Wouldn't elite answer at the podium, though.
For Amari?
No, from Coleman.
Oh,
he asked me. I just gave him confirmation.
Coleman is an absolute treasure. Like,
oh yeah.
Okay.
He knew the route. I was just giving him confirmation.
Complete sidebar to this. His booking.com commercial. Don't know if you guys have seen it.
Phenomenal.
Go watch it. It's like 30 seconds long. It's worth the watch.
Yes.
If that's the one thing you take away from this episode, go watch Keon Coleman's booking.com ad. Your last hot or fire is anybody left on the 49ers? George Kittle, the rookie wide receivers. I am partial to Jacob Cowing as your deep shot because I liked him as a prospect. So that's my 2 cents. However, they still have John Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing, George Kittle. That is what they will be running with for the foreseeable future, with Debo suffering from pneumonia so bad he was hospitalized, and the season-ending injury to Brandon Aiyuk. Now for the ice. Guys, it's going to be a cold one. And this one, the first one, I will say, is a little spicy because of a certain suspension that just came down the pipe for one player on this team. Sam Laporta is on my ice, and he will be for the foreseeable future. Although maybe the next 2 games you feel a little bit more comfortable, as that target disbursement will probably have to filter through him a little bit. He's been very uninspiring. He does not look like he has a solidified role in this offense, and their identity is to run the absolute shit out of the ball and pound you in the face until you just submit. So he's going to be utilized blocking more than he's going to be utilized receiving the football, unfortunately. Another player that you should probably drop if you have not yet, Zamir White. Look, it's not rocket science. The Raiders are bad, and Zamir White has been officially tossed back to the bench, and it's now an Alexander Madison role. So why you're rostering White at this point, I don't really know. This is a wake-up call. Go drop him. Go add anybody else. There's a much higher chance that anybody else returns value to you at this point than Zamir White will. This one's going to hurt because we just talked about how great of a guy he is. Keon Coleman is on the ice list, fellas. Keon did have a fantastic week. However, he was not targeted a single time when Amari Cooper was on the field. So the only way Keon Coleman got the football was when Amari needed a break or didn't know the play. I don't like that for the future. Amari's going to be on the field a lot, and therefore, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out. And last but not least, this is a sell. And it's a sell. Najee Harris has been absolutely on a rampage the last 2 weeks. Take this opportunity. Jaylen Warren is now healthy. He ate into the backfield chair last week. He will continue to do so. And we've all seen how explosive Jaylen is. I honestly think there is a slight chance that Jaylen is a better running back than Najee. I don't want to gamble and find out after 2 20-point weeks. Trade Najee before the NFL trade deadline and recoup more than what you even invested in him. That is the science behind it. Just go ahead and take your winnings and move on. And that wraps up your Fire and Ice for this week.
I'm going to circle back just real quick because I want your guys' opinions here. We had Romeo Doubs as a fire pick, right? What are we doing with Christian Watson? Because last week, again, kind of was a dud, but you see the athleticism, like you see the explosion, you see the talent. If the volume is going to be towards Romeo Doubs, which clearly it is, right? Jordan Love has built that chemistry with Romeo. Like what would be your guys' advice with players that have, a Christian Watson on their team who could explode on any given week, really? But what's your advice with that? Is that a player that is worth keeping on your roster if you can? Is it a player worth dropping? Opinions?
I think the big thing comes to he is a stash at this point. He's not someone I'm holding with hopes of starting any week, unless there's an injury or some sort of news or progress there. Okay. He ran a route on 50% of snaps. He was only targeted 6% of times last week.
Yeah, he almost got in the end zone last week. I mean, it's a hope and pray, and it's one of those things where if you do have to start him, you're hoping for a TD and you're hoping for that one dynamic play. But I agree with Shane. It's a stash play, and if Reed or Doubs gets hurt, then I think it is then a play. But even Wicks got more targets than he
did. Right.
Yeah, Wicks had a 40 or a 18% target share.
Yeah, and Jayden Reed didn't really impress anybody on their rosters last week. I think he scored 6 fantasy points in half-point PPR.
He dropped a couple passes too last week too.
I'm telling you right now, Josh Jacobs looked absolutely money last week. He got his first receiving touchdown.
He officially set the record for the longest or the most receptions prior to getting your first.
Yeah. I mean, that team has so many weapons. It is hard to predict who it's going to be, but except for the fact that we know Romeo Doubs is going to get the volume because Jordan Love loves Romeo Doubs.
Jordan Love is just an all-around good quarterback.
He is.
Spread the ball around. Tucker Kraft even got a lot of targets last week.
Yeah, exactly. That team is loaded with talent. Mm-hmm. Absolutely loaded. Sorry, Shane. Go ahead. Continue.
That's all I had for this section. So if we want to start the rundown, sir, it is all yours.
Okay, let's jump right on into it then. So your Thursday night matchup, guys. And again, when we go over these matchups, we're going to start going through them a little quicker. One person will probably answer the majority of the time, and I'll just flip-flop in between. So let's start off with Shane. You have the Vikings and the Rams here. Obviously, your core players you're going to play. You're probably not benching those guys. So out of this game, is there anybody else that jumps out at you?
If I'm needing a streamer at tight end, Colby Parkinson. He was involved quite a bit last week, and I think he will be, slightly downgraded with the return of Cooper Kupp and possibly even Puka. But he'll still be involved, and he's someone who you can guarantee there's still a role for. So I would say maybe him. The other one would be a flyer on DeMarcus Robinson, since he's going to slide back into his original role. Other than that, no one else.
Well, Shane, I'm going to pick your brain here just for a second here. Let's just hypothetically say that Cooper Kupp gets traded tomorrow, right? He gets traded before this week's game, just hypothetically. If you had to choose a wide receiver other than Puka, because we know he's designated to return, right? He has been designated to return. Do you like Tutu Atwell or do you like Jordan Whittington better?
I am a Jordan Whittington stan. I will die on this hill. I'm sorry. I'm not backtracking on that. Tutu is explosive, don't get me wrong. But Whittington just is a very solid route runner and also has that explosivity that everybody looks for. Unfortunately, he's just not developed yet. And so, like, you just have to hope that he gets a play where he explodes on. Because, like, he's going to get the volume if Cooper's gone. Like, that's it. Like, him and Puka are going to be 1 and 2 if Coop's gone. Because it seems to be that he's taking over the Cooper top role.
Right. Okay. So, if you were in a 12-man fantasy league, not dynasty, are any of those players, is a Tutu or a Jordan worth having on your roster at this current point in time?
Not with the team getting healthier. I think that it's time to move on, unfortunately.
Okay. But dynasty, you would obviously
rostering Whittington for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then anybody on the Viking side? No. Other than the normal?
No. Not. Okay. I mean, TJ Hockenson, if he's somehow still available in your leagues, he's coming back. Maybe not this week, but the week after. So.
Okay. Perfect. Moving on. The Tennessee Titans traveling to the Detroit Dan Campbell-led Lions. Just a stud of a team. One of my Super Bowl picks. Jason, you got anybody out of the norm of this game? We know
gross and grosser, I guess. I hate that Calvin Ridley is in such a bad spot. Hopkins isn't really doing a thing. Pollard, you're running him. We don't really know the quarterback situation. It's up in the air with Mason Rudolph. This game is so gross. I don't, off the top of my head, no. I think you're starting who you're starting. Shane, go ahead.
Kalif Raymond is who I'm starting for the Lions. If I'm picking somebody.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. I wasn't even getting at the Lions.
Oh, sorry.
Right,
yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah. 100%. The Lions are pretty cut and dry. But yes, I like the Kalif Raymond call out there. I think that is potentially could be a good play for the next couple of weeks.
Is he available on waivers?
And most leagues, yes.
Okay.
He's got to be like 80% available.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be one of the top pickups this week, if I had to guess, with the looming suspension of Jameson. Right. Let me ask you guys this real quick before I jump into the next game. Tajay Spears is supposed to be back this week. Do you expect a split? Or do you expect with the showing of Tony Pollard, even though he got banged up, but he came back in the game last week? Like, do you think there's a split there?
70-30.
I'm gonna be honest. Probably not at this point. I don't think that they.
Do you agree with 70-30?
Yeah, I'd say maybe 70-30.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good estimation there, Jay. I like that. I don't mind that. But I agree with you too, Shane. Like, I think there could be a very real possibility that it's just Tony Pollard 100%. So, okay, Shane, next game. You're up here, bud. Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Cleveland Browns. Go back and listen to our betting episode here. Jason picked the Browns in this game, which I do like this spot for the Browns. What do you like here?
For the Baltimore Ravens, Rashad Bateman. As far as like your not top name guy. And for everybody else, obviously a smash play. Zay Flowers, keep an eye on his health because he's not healthy. He tweaked his ankle. Yes. He came into the game injured and then proceeded to tweak his ankle. So, like, something to monitor without a doubt. And then for the Browns, I have one that is being thrown a lot around in fantasy circles. Cedric Tillman.
Yes.
We know what we have with Jerry Jeudy. He's just not very good. And we know what we have with Elijah Moore. Also not very good. Cedric Tillman is the what's in the box. You know, like Family Guy, what's in the box? It could be a boat. Or yeah, like Cedric Tillman is the what's in the box. Give me the box. Because the dude looks legit and he's earned targets in that offense. He also had an enticing prospect profile. So give me Cedric Tillman for the Cleveland Browns.
Jay?
Real quick, shout out Nick Chubb being back, scoring a TD first week back. He deserves it. He earned it, and glad to see him back. Also, Njoku. My boy. Njoku's time to ball out. If you don't have Njoku in your starting lineup, you need to put him in your starting lineup.
It is his time. I needed just like getting a little off topic here. I needed 3 more yards from Nick Chubb to hit my parlay, and he didn't come back in the game. So I hate the Browns.
I hate their fans too.
Yeah, that was pretty disturbing last week. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go and listen to just about any other podcast or any other player out there in the NFL who it was unfortunate for the Browns fans for booing Deshaun Watson. So
hold on to circle back. Kalif Raymond in Yahoo leagues is 0% rostered.
Yeah, so he's probably going to be one of the top pickups, at least for the next couple of weeks. Jason, we have the Green Bay Packers traveling to the Jacksonville Jaguars in this matchup. Anybody out the ordinary?
If you ain't starting Tank Bigsby over ETN, then something is wrong with you right now. I don't know
going to
how
be a
else
split.
to put it. I mean, Tank Bigsby is that dude.
Well, keep your eye on ETN's health, right? He didn't play last week due to an injury.
He's the more dynamic guy, though, in that offense.
And I do believe as far as like the explosiveness, it does feel, at least right now, it feels like Tank Bigsby has more explosiveness than Travis Etienne. Even when Etienne is healthy, it's going to be a split backfield, right? Etienne is a good running back. But I am interested to see what it's going to look like with a healthy ETN, what that split is going to look like, right? So we kind of already alluded to the Green Bay Packers. Shane, do you want to add anything to this?
For the Packers, no. I will say Joe Mixon just ran for 115 yards on 25 attempts against this Green Bay Packers unit. Expect Tank Bigsby to be able to run all over them as well.
Jacksonville has shown that they can run the football too this year.
Do we have any clarity on Etienne's injury? Is he expected to be back this week?
I don't even think it matters.
Well, I'm just for Etienne owners, right?
I don't think we have any updates so far.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not been an update released since Sunday.
Okay. Well, just make sure you're keeping your eyes on that. Keep your eyes on that. On that Etienne health there. Shane, next game, we have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Jason's Houston Texans. You get the privilege of talking about anybody in this game.
The Colts, there is no one to mention except for Jonathan Taylor if he plays, and Tyler Goodson. I kind of got excited because I thought about Tyler Goodson. Looked explosive in relief. So if it's not JT, Goodson's probably the only other player I'd feel super comfortable playing from the Colts.
Well, let me ask you this, Shane, because a lot of people, we've seen it on the old Twitter sphere. A lot of people are wondering if they should start AR-15 because he was such a high draft pick in fantasy leagues. I'm on the side of I think I would pivot to another option. Right? Like he does have rushing upside, but it's not fantastic looking, in my opinion.
So he has rushing upside if he chooses to run the football. The issue is that he doesn't choose to run the football. And unless it's a design run in which he's gotten hurt on all of the ones he's decided to run on, I'm not buying it. It's unfortunate. We wished that there was a better outcome to this, but there's just not. And therefore, there's got to be someone better for you to start somewhere on the waiver wire. Like,
yes, I agree.
Go start Jared Goff if he's out there. Go start Kirk Cousins if he's out there. Like, those are more reliable options at this point than AR-15.
Right. Texan side. Do we obviously we know the normal. I want to get Shane's explanation on this first, and then Jason, you can chime in since it is your team.
No, you're good. I only have 1 point about it. Yeah.
Tank Dell. We know last week he had a few drop skis. Two of them being in the end zone. Are we panicked at all on Tank Dell? Are we worried, panicked, or start him and see what happens?
Start him and see what happens. They came out after the game and said we need to get more involved. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. He had 5 targets.
Yes.
That's not enough. Like, look, if you want the dude to be in the game, like, you gotta feed him. Like, that's just, it's pretty unacceptable to like spontaneously expect a guy who recovered from an injury, wasn't himself, and then you need him to be the guy, and he's not being treated like you need him to be the guy. Like, feed the man. Let him get the feel of the game. Let it introduce it early and often, and establish the fact that he's going to be a centerpiece of your offense. And I think that's what they'll try to do this week. The Colts are absolutely abysmal on the defensive side. You can do whatever you want against this Colts defense. So, you know what? What I want to see from the Texans this week, Matt, is I want to see them do whatever the fuck they want. That's what I want. I want them to go out and absolutely decimate this Colts team like they're the Detroit Lions. Like, I want that attitude out of the Texans this week. And if I don't see that, I'm going to have some serious questions about this D'Amico Ryan unit.
Agreed. Jason?
I mean, I won't harp on it too much. Our defense balled out. Our special teams balled out last week. Every part of, besides the offense, balled out besides the passing game. Passing game coordinator and offensive line dropped the ball. We couldn't block. They couldn't block anything last week. The scouting report is to blitz the shit out of them and hope the offensive line picks it up, and they did not pick up the free blitzers. O-line looked like they could only run block, which Joe Mixon is a special dude in that offense, and it turns our offense around. Tank Dell, yes, you are right, Shane. He does need more targets, but CJ Stroud was the most upset I've ever seen him, and the most active he's ever been on the sideline, because he didn't get more than 3 seconds to freaking throw the football. Agreed. And that's not on Tank Dell. That's not on CJ. He just didn't have time. And that's basically what it was. If you don't have time to throw the football, you're not going to be able to get your receivers open downfield, and that's what it was. Hopefully that we can pass protect and we can figure it out. I like Dalton Schultz this week. The Colts gave up 90 yards and a TD to Jonnu Smith last week with the Dolphins. I like that for a spot play for tight end if you need a tight end this week. So keep that in your mind.
Yeah, I like that. I like that call out as well. Dr. Schultz. Jason, next game, we're moving on to the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Miami to play possibly the Tua-led Dolphins this week. What do you like here? I know a lot of people have been down on the Dolphins, and it's been obvious. You know, they haven't really had a quarterback.
Give me the hot hand with A-Chain. Give me the hot hand. I like Jonnu Smith this week. I keep on feeding him. I know if Tua does play, keep on feeding him. It's going to be short passes. Everybody expects Tua and Waddle to actually have a sighting in fantasy relevance this week, which I think if I looked at it correctly, Tyreek only had 1 catch for 8 yards last week.
Yes, you are looking at that accurately.
Yeah, no, that's weird. But Jonnu Smith was the guy. I like A-Chain to have a good week. I like Tua without the Guardian cap to come out and play well. And, I mean, with the Cardinals, MHJ needs to show up. Michael Wilson didn't do anything. You know you're going to start Trey McBride and Connor. So, yeah,
no,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
We don't have to spend too much time on this game.
No, I agree. I think if Tua's back, I think you're firing up. I think you're firing up pretty much all their weapons, right? He's going to look to get the ball to the playmakers so they can return to a high scoring offense.
Quick passing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Jonnu. What he showed last week. They needed a third pass catcher. Yeah, they needed a third pass catcher. He showed, I think, Mike McDaniels in that offense that he could be that guy. So, like, I expect Tua to come out and see if he is that guy.
Yeah, agreed. Shane, to you here, Atlanta Falcons playing at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, you already went over it with the notes. Tampa Bay is down bad on offense. Their wide receiver core, anyway. Anybody out the ordinary here?
They're down but not out. Let me introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to Jalen McMillan. Listen, the dude, once the injury to Mike Evans occurred, he took on Mike Evans' role. He had 9 targets since Mike Evans left the game. That is someone who should be one of your priority targets in the waiver wire. That man has an absolute ball skill that few possess. We saw it at Washington when he was the alpha and then wasn't the alpha with, the talent that was in Washington. But he is going to get fed. He is the last remaining guy that I think could be an alpha there. I think Kate Otten also looks to be an alpha, and Atlanta struggles to cover tight ends. So fire up those two if you're someone who suffered those injuries and you're looking for a replacement, because I honestly think Jalen McMillan, not only does he have a great chance to be successful this year, he has a great chance to be successful in the future. So I'm super pumped about McMillan's opportunity. I'm not pumped that, it happened this way, but I'm happy that he has this opportunity because I do think he's an explosive player. On the Falcons side, listen, if you have Ray McLeod on your team, bench him or drop him because he's officially phased out of that Falcons offense. I think that this is one of your last hopes to start Tyler Algier, despite the fact that the Buccaneers are a fantastic defense against the run. I think that they're going to get up pretty big in this game pretty early, and I think that they're going to just try to bleed the clock, and Algier is one of the perfect pieces to do that. So that would be my fringe player from the Falcons. Other than that, you're starting your core pieces, and then the Bucs backfield. Who knows?
Yeah, it's tough. If
you have either of them, sure. If you really want to, you can play them because I think they're going to have to decide that they're going to run the football, which isn't something that that's not their identity, but they can do it and they can do it very successfully. So I think that you can start Bucky and Rashad maybe with some confidence, at least in the flex, and be like, they're going to get me 8 points.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. 100%. Let's rifle through some of these next games here, guys. You got the Jets, Jason, at the New England Patriots. Anybody out of the norm minus your Devonta? People are going to start Devonta, Garrett Wilson.
Lazard. I'm starting Lazard.
Yeah, I could see people flexing out Lazard. Obviously, Breece Hall is going to be a starter.
Coughlin,
I'm looking more.
Need something.
I'm looking more on the Patriots side.
I'd rather start Henry over Coughlin.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of one of those things.
If you need it,
I think you could flex Demario.
We can move on.
Yeah, I think you could flex Pop. I think you can flex Pop Douglas. Shane, do you have anything to add to that real quick?
No, I mean, Ramondre is the only guy from the Patriots I want to start. That's how You're starting.
And
I don't even know that I want to start Ramondre, but
I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's getting volume, and that's what you want in fantasy, especially right here this time of year, bye weeks, and trying to make a push to.
It's a puke game. We've already spent way too much time on this.
Yeah. Shane, next game, the Philadelphia Eagles playing at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Anybody you're starting all the regulars. I will say be wary of AJ Brown. The Bengals, one thing they do exceptionally well is stop the deep ball. So I think that this is going to be a slugfest of high scoring affair, but the Bengals are going to do everything they can in their power to not let the Eagles beat them over the top. So it's going to be an interesting matchup of two very completely different schemes. I'm not starting anybody outside of the normal guys here. Maybe Grant Calcurta if Dallas Goedert is out. What? If Dallas Goedert's out, Calcutta, he was involved.
Go pick up Cade Otton.
Well, yeah, but it's not always available, Jason. Cade Otton's rostered in like 70% of leagues still.
I'm starting those two over them.
Who?
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith is also rostered in 57% of leagues. Like, I'm giving you someone who, like, if you have a roster spot to churn.
That's like a desperate, like, I need my fix kind of play.
With the tight end landscape, the fix works, bro.
All right, guys, we got 6 more games to get through here. I don't know that we need to spend much time on the Bills Seahawks. Jason, is there just real quick, is there anybody out the ordinary you want to start here in this game, or do you want to move on?
No, depending on what happens with DK, if he does come back, then you're looking at maybe Tyler Lockett for a spot start.
Yeah, DK's a freak. I can see him definitely playing in this game just because it's a big game for the Seahawks. But who knows? Who knows?
If DK doesn't play, JSN goes through the roof.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah,
we're good. Move on.
All right, we have the Saints at the Chargers. Interesting matchup here, Shane. Anybody you like in this game? Derek Carr will not be back. Spencer Rattler is going to be the starter. Who knows about the wide receivers? Shaheed will obviously not be back. Chris Olave was not at practice on Wednesday.
But means is
there. I do like that play.
Or another deep shot, Will Dissly or Kamani Vidal. If you're like desperate for an RB, Kamani.
Taysom Hill is healthy.
He may be healthy. And at this point, the Saints can't do a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
So, we've already spent too much time on this game.
Yeah, you're starting like your normal 2 players from both teams if they're available, and that's about it.
Agreed. All right, Chicago Bears playing at Washington Commanders, obviously with the uncertainty of Jayden Daniels. Jason, who do you like here? Anybody out of the norm? Brian Robinson's obviously a must-play. Do you guys like Austin Eckler in this matchup?
Not really.
I'm in agreement with you guys. Actually.
Hey, I forget his name. It's not Tucker. What's the tight end for the Bears name?
Cole Kmet.
Is he a must start?
I don't know if he's necessarily a must start, but
if you have him,
I feel like if you have him, you probably drafted him and you don't have an alternative. So yes, you're probably starting Cole Kmet.
Do you guys like Roma Dunze here?
Are you starting Roma Dunze or are you starting Keenan Allen?
I actually lean more towards Roma Dunze over Keenan.
Yeah, I would fire up Keenan. I think it goes DJ. Maybe
I agree.
DJ Kmet. Yeah. I would say DJ Kmet, Rome, Keenan.
And then Keenan. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay. Shane, your Kansas City Chiefs playing at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders. Honestly, the Raiders, all you got's Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers is hurt. He's probably not playing. Yeah.
Listen, Xavier Worthy is a play, and the Chiefs guys are plays. The Raiders guys are stayaways, aside from Brock Bowers. I will say, this game could get ugly, and it's going to be mostly Chiefs fans in those stands.
Do you think the Chiefs defense score in this game? I think they could have a tutty.
I like that bet. I like that bet.
I do like that bet a lot.
I really do. I really, really do.
Hey, let's do something.
You want to make it? You do a little bet action there?
No, we can put it. We might be able to put this on our picks later.
Cook up one more, and we'll make it a parlay.
Okay, we'll think about it. We don't need to talk much about this game.
Yeah, this is pretty cut and dry. Obviously, you're starting all the Chiefs starters because they're gonna kill the fucking Raiders. Okay. Carolina Panthers playing at the Denver Broncos. There could be some decent little implications here. Jonathan Brooks is supposed to be maybe off of the pup list. Even if he's active, I don't think he plays, but it's exciting to see that it's getting closer.
Yeah, I'm not throwing him out to the Wolves, and the Broncos defense is a bunch of wolves. Like that is danger zone.
I think the only person I'm even thinking about starting is Javonte Williams for the Broncos and or DJ for the Panthers and Chuba. That's it.
You agree? You agree with that, Shane? Anybody else you like in this one?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably fire up Cortland. He's not going to get goose egged again. I don't.
Right? No,
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's a.
I actually think that this is a bounce back week for Cortland. A lot of times when you see those dudes get goose egged, they make it a point that hey, we're sorry. So here's some extra. And the Panthers defense is so terrible. You can start anybody if you need to.
I like a defensive score in this game too.
Yeah, I like that.
Broncos, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Speaking of, Andy Dalton got into a car crash today. I don't know if you guys saw that. So there's a question mark about who's going to be the QB. It could be back to Bryce Young.
Oh, Panthers money line.
Ooh.
I'm kidding.
Do you guys
Broncos defense, special teams, anytime touchdown.
Real quick before I move to the next game.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, is he worth a spot start here?
No.
Yeah. With again the quarterback
super
landscape.
Flex, yes.
In the quarterback landscape, he's probably like quarterback 15. You're not comfortable with it, but like he's pretty middle of the road.
I agree with that. Dallas Cowboys traveling to San Francisco 49ers. The lowly Dallas Cowboys, struggling Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, guys, you're starting CD because you just have to. You drafted him early enough to start him here. Ferguson. Are you willing to start Dak Prescott in this game? You know Dak is going to probably throw 2 picks. He's probably going to have at a minimum 2 INTs.
I bet Dak has the best game of the year.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Off of bye week, I bet he has the best game of the year.
This is a must-win for Dallas, and it's really a must-win for San Francisco. This could be a very...
Is it in Dallas or San Fran?
It's in San Fran. Yeah, they're playing back-to-back home games.
God, that's going to be such a...
This could be a very good game.
That's going to be a great atmosphere.
It's a hard game for Yankees fans.
I think you know who you're starting, Shane. I mean, you know, Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall.
I do like what Ricky Pearsall did in his first game. Had a lot of run. Didn't score very many fantasy points, but he's getting integrated. But I like the Jawan Jennings call out. We don't know about Deebo Samuel. Shane, do you got anything to add to this?
Jacob Cowing, and don't sleep on Jalen Tolbert, my guys. Jalen Tolbert,
I agree.
Yeah, is someone you should roster in a league that he's available at this point because, the Cowboys have to run their offense through somebody other than
I like that. I like that. Okay, and then last game, guys, our Monday night game. New York Giants traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Anybody out of the ordinary in this game that you like?
Nope.
I mean, this one's pretty.
Shepard.
Who?
Sterling.
Sterling's is on Tampa.
Sorry, not I don't know why I thought of him.
Daniel Slate. Tyron Tracy. I thought you were going with Darius Slayton.
My bad. Yeah, no. I was thinking of. I don't know why I said.
Because he was on.
But yeah, are you firing up Tyron Tracy?
I don't think it's a terrible play.
I agree. He out-touched Devin Singletary despite Singletary being back healthy. So, you could probably fire him up and feel pretty comfortable about it, but the Steelers unit is solid against the run.
Yes.
I don't know. I think, like what you said, I love with Russ there firing up Pickens. I don't think you can fire anybody else up besides Fairmouth or the running backs. And on the Giants side, it's Neighbors and Die.
And maybe Wandale, because the Steelers suck against slot cornerbacks or slot wide receivers.
He gets a lot of volume.
Shit last week being down.
He got 8 fantasy points. It wasn't anything to make
sexy.
you.
It
wasn't anything
to be sexy. He's gonna run short routes and catch the ball, and it's gonna be 4 yards in a cloud of dust.
That's what I'm saying. Wandale is a player you can fire up every week just because he does get the volume. But yes, I do agree. I like Tracy, even though it's going to be a tough matchup. they're on the fence with this whole Daniel Jones thing. There was another quarterback controversy last week. If they're going to make a change at quarterback,
they benched him.
Yeah, they did, and they're going to play a top 5 ranked defense in the National Football League in Pittsburgh. It's just going to be a tough matchup for the Giants.
That dude looks like Buzz Lightyear, though. Just let me say that.
He does.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we missed?
I'm looking at my list. No, not anybody that I wanted to mention that I did not.
Okay. Well, guys, that is going to wrap up today's episode of the Parlay Fantasy Football Podcast. This was our fantasy section, guys. If you have any questions, seriously, man, feel free to reach out on the YouTube channel, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go and leave a comment. We will talk about stuff that you guys want to hear about. So leave us some comments. Head on over there. Subscribe, follow, 5-star review. We love you all. Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Give the video a like. And then fantasy6pack.net. If you want to become an all-access member today, Parlay FF is the access code that get 15% off. Do that. You'll have tons and tons and tons of knowledge that will help you out on either betting, fantasy, and every other sport, not just football. Go and check it out, guys. That being said, Shane and Jason, y'all know what to do.
It's been a real y'all. Go ahead and, again, head to F6P and make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell till it goes ding.
Yeah, hit us up. Let us know if you need any trade advice and whatnot. We got y'all. Love y'all.
Heck yeah, man. We love y'all to the moon and back. Until next episode. Peace out.